AI is making a lot of progress in the last few years, decades. It's reached a point where it's way better than it used to be, and it's good enough to be deployed in many sectors of society and have an amazing impact. But we're still very far from the level of intelligence of humans. As we learn more about human intelligence with neuroscience and cognitive science, we can use that inspiration to design better AI systems in the future. What I'm hoping, and I think we will achieve, is AI systems that can be much more adaptive and robust. Today's system, if you ask them questions that are far from the data they have seen, they can say stupid things. Also, what I'm expecting is we'll build systems that can interact with their environment, that can participate, collaborate with humans in the process of understanding the world around us, the process of scientific discovery. And we're starting to see this in biology, medicine. So what I'm expecting in the coming years and decades with AI is lots of good things for society, for healthcare, the environment, education. But at the same time, the power of the systems we're building is something we have to be concerned about, so that it's used for good and not used as an instrument of power that could be bad for many people. AI is one of those technologies. Think about nuclear weapons that we have to be careful about, because it could be very powerful for good if we use nuclear power for medicine or energy, or it could be dangerous if we make bombs, right? You can think something like this for AI. Our world is changing thanks to new technologies, in particular computers, and in particular in computing, artificial intelligence. That means everyone should understand the basics. Of course, we'll need more engineers and researchers and people in various domains who apply AI. So lots of jobs will require AI, like today you require to use the internet. It doesn't mean you have to be an expert in AI, but you need to use those things. Also, because there are some social impacts of AI, we have to take collective decisions, democratic decisions about what we want to do with those tools, what is good for society and what is not good for society. And that means every citizen needs to understand these questions enough to have an informed opinion, a rational opinion that's going to influence governments in the choices they have to make. So I think governments should make a kind of democratization of the basic knowledge of AI and computers in general, and programming, because, well, many people will need it in their job. Many people won't need it in their job, but as a citizen, they need to understand them in order to take good decisions. And the third reason is because if you don't understand something, it can look scary. There could be a backlash against technology, against AI, especially when you don't understand it. If you look with the pandemic, what's happening in many countries with people rejecting vaccine, it's mostly because they don't understand what it is, and of course there's misinformation. This can happen with AI as well. And the best vaccine against misinformation is knowledge, the kind of knowledge that everyone needs to have, like basic knowledge. So yeah, I think there are lots of good reasons to prepare all the children to have at least some general understanding of AI. young people to understand AI, they need to have a good basic education in concepts in mathematics, computing, of course. These are topics that every youngster should have some good level of understanding. What's interesting for AI also, one reason, for example, why I got interested in AI is because of the connection between AI, all the sciences that study human intelligence, neuroscience, studying the brain, and cognitive science, studying how we think and behavior. As people get to learn about AI, it's not just about computers, it's also something about who we are as human. It even touches on philosophy. So I think there's a way to teach about AI that's more appealing, less cold, and has to do with the human question. And the social aspect is also important, because maybe even before we understand how it's done inside those programs, those softwares, as a future citizen, we need to understand the ethical concerns. How could a tool like this be misused, for example, to control people, to have a big brother scenario with governments killing opponents or checking what everybody's doing. There's science fiction scenarios could really happen, and we need regular citizens to understand these the questions of privacy with data. For example, everybody has health, medical data. What's the right balance between protecting that information and taking advantage of it to discover new cures, which AI can help with, but only if we find a way to share that with scientists. So there are a lot of ethical questions high school students could discuss, and this is maybe an easier entry point that is going to be important to democratize AI. AI brings together a lot of disciplines to construct it, from computer science to neuroscience to mathematics. But when you deploy it, even more disciplines are involved, and you have to think about the legal aspects, you have to think about the ethical aspects, you have to think about the social consequences, sociologists, philosophers, lawyers. And that's actually exciting, because it forces us to open our mind and think about these problems in a different way. These different perspectives, the inclusion principle, is really at the heart of how science is able to be creative, to discover new things. By exchanging with colleagues from different areas. For example, recently I was talking to people who are more into economics, and there are interesting connections with AI. It's just incredible as an AI researcher how I'm entering in discussions with people from many fields. Just a few days ago I was talking to physicists, to chemists. So both the hard sciences and the social sciences and humanities are involved to have a complete picture of AI and its applications and its impact in society. And that's great. That's something we've tried to promote at Mila, because this diversity of views is important. And it's not just about disciplines, it's also about different countries, researchers and students coming from all over the world. And of course, they bring their different ways of thinking, and that's great. That's important. That makes us move faster. It makes us explore, because science is about exploration. If everyone thinks in the same way, we all go in the same place, and we miss out on a lot of possible directions we could have explored. So this diversity is really important for the success of research. When I was young, I didn't know what I would do with my life. One thing I didn't know is how fun it is to do research. You're an explorer. You try things in your mind, you try things by discussing with other people. Beautiful ideas come to you from your brain or from other people's brain, and it gives us pleasure. So there is an amazing pleasure in discovering new things, and research gives us that. It's also exciting because we are after truth. What is really going on in the world? What's particularly exciting about AI is it's not just like we're researchers and we're trying to figure out intelligence, but we're trying to build machines that can understand how the world works, that can explore the world by themselves, that can ask questions. And that's like even more exciting. Yeah, I encourage young people to consider this field for their career.